Let me ask you something that might make you a little uncomfortable. Think about the hardest working person you know. Someone who never says no to extra shifts, who checks their work emails at 9 p.m., who hasn't taken a proper holiday in 3 years. Someone who earns decent money, maybe really good money by most standards. Now ask yourself, are they wealthy? Not just earning. Not just comfortable, actually wealthy. Assets, investments. A growing net worth that works even when they're asleep. If you're honest, the answer is probably no. And here's the thing that makes this genuinely strange. Australia's average full-time salary is now among the highest in the world. We are working longer hours than ever. We have access to more financial information than any generation before us. There are entire podcasts, YouTube channels, and apps dedicated to helping us manage money. And yet, the average Australian has less than $35,000 in savings. The average superannuation balance for someone in their 40s is still not enough to retire on. And household debt in this country is at a record high. We are working harder and building less. So, what is actually going on? Here's the story we've all been told. Work hard, get promoted, earn more, spend a little, save a little, and the rest takes care of itself. It's a clean story, a logical one. And for a very different economy in a very different era, it probably worked. But there's a fundamental problem with this formula, and it has nothing to do with how hard you work. The problem is that it treats income as the destination, as if earning more is the goal itself. And that one misunderstanding, mistaking a high income for wealth, is quietly destroying the financial futures of millions of hard-working Australians right now. Let me show you what I mean. Meet Steve. He's 31, lives in Brisbane, earns $95,000 a year. By every reasonable measure, Steve is doing well. He drives a nice car. He lives in a decent suburb. He goes out on weekends. He takes 1 holiday a year, sometimes 2. He works hard. His boss values him. He's up for a promotion. And yet, when Steve opens his banking app, there is almost nothing there. Barely 3 months of living expenses. No investment portfolio. Super that he hasn't looked at since he set it up at 22. He's making more money than most people his parents' age ever did. And somehow, he's got nothing to show for it. Steve isn't irresponsible. He's not reckless with money. He just fell into the trap that almost every high-earning Australian falls into. He confused a big income with building wealth. Here is the uncomfortable truth that financial institutions don't put in their ads. Income and wealth are not the same thing. They're not even close to the same thing. Income is a flow. It comes in, and if you're not intentional about it, it flows straight back out again. Wealth is a store. It's what you keep, what you own, what works for you over time. Think of it like water. Income is rain. Wealth is a dam. Most Australians are living in a constant downpour, decent income raining in every fortnight, but they've never built a dam. So the water rushes in, and it rushes back out just as fast. And every year, as life gets a little more expensive, as the car needs an upgrade, and the rent goes up, and the kids come along, the rain barely keeps up with how much is flowing away. You can't get wealthy just by making more rain. You have to build something that holds water. So why aren't we building it? There are actually 3 forces at work here. And once you understand all 3, the whole picture snaps into focus. The first force is the effort-reward illusion. There's something deeply psychological about working hard and earning money. When you work long hours and get paid for it, your brain registers this as success. The effort and the reward are directly linked. It feels right. But here's the trap. Because that feeling of "I worked hard, I deserve this" is the same feeling that drives almost every lifestyle spending decision. The dinner out after a tough week. The new car after a big promotion. The holiday booked after a brutal quarter at work. We earn through effort, and our brain is wired to reward effort with pleasure. So every pay rise becomes a lifestyle upgrade, and every lifestyle upgrade quietly locks in a higher floor of expenses that we can never easily walk back. Psychologists call this effort justification. We assign value to things based on how hard we worked for them, which sounds reasonable, until it means we feel entitled to spend everything we earn simply because we earned it. The second force is status spending. Australia has one of the most expensive cost of living cultures in the developed world. But beyond the basic expense of just being here, there's a layer of social pressure that most of us don't even consciously notice. The suburb you live in, the car you drive, the coffee you're seen with, the beach house for New Year's, the kitchen renovation. In a country where home ownership is deeply tied to identity and where the social calendar is expensive by default, keeping up is a full-time job. The average Australian household spends a significant portion of its after-tax income on things that depreciate: cars, electronics, furniture, clothing, dining, and a comparatively tiny portion on things that appreciate: assets, shares, property equity, businesses. We are collectively very good at buying things that lose value and not very good at buying things that gain it. And the brutal irony is that higher earners often fall into this trap harder than lower earners, because the size of the lifestyle they're expected to maintain grows with every step up the income ladder. The third force is the invisible opportunity cost. This one is the most damaging, and it's the one almost nobody talks about. Every dollar you spend is not just a dollar gone. It's a dollar that will never compound. And compounding, money making more money over time, is the only force in personal finance that can genuinely change your life without you working harder. Let's say Steve from Brisbane is spending an extra $800 a month on lifestyle choices, a nicer car repayment than he needs, subscriptions he barely uses, regular spending that's drifted above what it was 2 years ago. He doesn't think much of it. $800 feels manageable on his salary. But over 25 years, invested in a simple index fund at an average return of 8%, that $800 a month becomes over $900,000. He's not just spending $800 a month. He's spending $900,000. That's the invisible cost nobody calculates. The thing they don't show you on the price tag. And it applies to every unnecessary dollar that leaves your account without working for you first. Here's the bigger idea underneath all of this. Most Australians have been sold the wrong definition of financial success. The version most of us grew up with says, earn more, live better. And that's it. That's the whole plan. There's no second chapter. No mention of assets. No mention of owning things that produce income. No mention of building anything beyond a comfortable salary. But real wealth, the kind that gives you genuine freedom and options, is built through ownership, not income. The wealthiest people in Australia, and in the world, are not paid the most. They own things. They own businesses, property, shares, intellectual property. Their wealth is not a paycheck. It's a portfolio. It grows whether they're working or not. Now, most of us aren't starting a business or buying investment properties in our 20s. That's fine. But the principle still applies. Every time you buy a share in a company through an index fund, you become a fractional owner of hundreds of businesses. Every extra dollar into your super is a dollar working silently in the background, compounding in a tax-advantaged environment, building ownership without you doing anything else at all. The shift isn't about earning more. It's about moving from being a worker who earns to being an owner who builds. And that shift starts with one decision: deciding that some percentage of what you earn will be redirected from buying things that lose value to buying things that grow. So, what do you actually do with this? The answer is simpler than the financial industry wants you to believe. Step 1. Calculate your real wealth building rate. Not what you earn, not what you spend. What percentage of your income is going toward actual assets every month? Shares, super contributions above the mandatory amount, investment property equity, anything that appreciates over time. If that number is below 20%, you are on the income treadmill, working hard, earning well, and building slowly. The goal is to move that number upward, not by earning more, but by redirecting what you already earn. Step 2. Cut the invisible costs first. Go through your spending and find the things that cost the most relative to the joy they actually give you long term. Car repayments on a vehicle nicer than you need. Subscriptions that pile up unnoticed. Lifestyle creep that happened gradually over years and is now just the default setting. This is not about suffering. It's about precision. Kill the costs that don't genuinely improve your life and redirect them toward things that build your future. Step 3. Automate ownership. The single most effective financial habit is making asset purchases automatic. Set up a regular transfer to an index fund the same day your pay arrives. Increase your voluntary super contribution by even 1%. When you automate it, it's no longer a willpower decision. It just happens. And here's the thing about compounding. It doesn't need you to be a genius. It doesn't need you to pick the right stocks or time the market. It just needs time and consistency, which is something every single person reading this still has, regardless of where they are right now. Step 4. Redefine what winning looks like. Stop measuring your financial success by your lifestyle. Stop measuring it by your salary. Start measuring it by your net worth. The gap between what you own and what you owe. And watch how quickly your decisions start to change. When you stop chasing income and start building ownership, the whole game changes. Here's where I want to leave you. Steve in Brisbane, or someone exactly like him, is in almost every suburb in this country. Smart, hardworking, earning good money, genuinely confused about why the security they expected hasn't arrived yet. The answer isn't that they need to work harder. They are already working hard. The answer is that they've been optimizing for the wrong thing. Australia is one of the greatest countries in the world to build wealth in. The superannuation system is a genuine asset if you use it properly. The share market has historically rewarded patient, consistent investors. The information and tools available today are better than they have ever been. We are not short of opportunity. We are short of the right framework for how to think about money. Income is not the goal. Ownership is. The Australians who will build real financial freedom over the next 20 years won't necessarily be the ones who earn the most. They'll be the ones who figured out, early enough for it to matter, that working hard and building wealth are not the same thing. And now you know the difference.